Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. 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 Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. I'm Rabbi Noah Kitty, and together with Hazzan, Jerry Berkowitz, and Cantorial soloist Harley Greene, I welcome and thank you for joining us on this beautiful Shabbat evening. Your presence makes our delight in the holiday all the sweeter. Before we begin our service this evening, I'd like to say a few words, as I typically do before the service begins, reflecting upon the week that has passed. And certainly this past week was notable for Holocaust Memorial Day that happened yesterday. It of course is the annual recognition of the loss of 6 million of our brethren during World War II as a direct and indirect result of rampant anti-Semitism. One of the actually most heartfelt observances that I know about happens in Israel on this day, where they have a siren that goes off for 2 minutes and everything stops. Most notably, every year they have someone videoing the highways, so many more now than there were years ago. But everyone still stops. Now they pull over and open their car door, step out, and stand in recognition and acknowledgement of what happens when hatred is unbridled and unstopped. It is so important to remember, but it is also so important to make sure that their sacrifice, their korban, was not in vain, that it is truly, I believe, incumbent upon us not to just make Judaism more popular, but truly to live our best lives as best we can, with authenticity and compassion, with focus and grace, to truly be the best that we are able to be and desire to be even more. And so their sacrifice will not just be a tragedy, but will inspire us again to do our best. As the psalmist says, those that sow in tears, may they reap in joy. And may it be so for us as we move from such a day of remembering such horrific tragedies and into the delightful, magical, wonderful, healing, peaceful, joyful hours of Shabbat. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Rabbi Noah. Let's get our matches ready so we can light the Shabbat candles together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue our service with the Kiddush for Friday evening.
All right, everyone, let's get the wine ready and let's sing the Kiddush together. Vayehi erev vayehi voker yom hashishi Vayechunu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tevam Vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i Melakto asher asa Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i Mikol melakto asher asa Vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i Vayekadesh oto Ki vo Shabbat mikol melakto Asher bara Elohim la'asod Savri Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'shabbat kodesho v'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kadshecha V'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
We continue with the Kabbalat Shabbat portion of our service. Now is the time when we sing several psalms in fairly quick succession. Knowing them with such comfortable familiarity, I warmly encourage you to truly sing loudly and along as Jerry and Harley lead us into singing our way into Shabbat, beginning with Shalom Aleichem. Thank you, Jerry.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashari Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Li L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Li Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzidchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Vihi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu
We continue together with L'chu Neranena. Thank you, Harley.
Thank you, Rabbi Noah. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonoi. Lechuneranena, 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 ladonoi. Naria, naria, latur yishenu, nikadma fana bisoda. Naria, naria, latur yishenu, Bizmirot naria lo, lechuneranena, 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 ladonoi, lechuneranena, 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 ladonoi. Good Shabbos.
We continue together with Mizmor LeDavid, a beautiful psalm reminding us that it is not only permissible, but actually encouraged to make beautiful music in honor of Shabbat and our God.
Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavodos, Havul Adonai kivod shelo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halebanon, Vayakidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'sivyon kemo ben reivim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavoteish, Kol Adonai yachil v'yivar, Yachil Adonai v'yivar kodesh, Kol Adonai yecholel hayalot, Vayechesot ye'arot, Uvehechalot kulam omer kavod, Adonai lamabu yasham, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom.
We continue together with Lecha Dodi. Come, my beloved, imagine every week your soul spirit is calling to you, encouraging you, reaching its hand out, as it were. Come, my beloved, let us enter Shabbat together. Thank you, Jerry.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmeyanu el hameichad, Adonai echad, Ushemu echad, L'shem l'tiferet v'letfilah. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, V'lei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, V'lei Shabbat mekabela. Mihikdash melech ir melucha, Umitzvahim mitoch ha'afeka, Rab lach shevet v'emek habacha, V'hu yachamol alayichem lach. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, V'lei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, V'lei Shabbat mekabela. Yitorevri, Kima orek umiori, Uri שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת לקבל לך. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת לקבל לך. והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבעלייך, יעשיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס מתנה קלה. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת נקבל לך. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת נקבל לך. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת לקבל לך. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת לקבל לך. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת לקבל לך. לך דודי לקראת גאולה, בליל שבת לקבל לך.
We continue together with the Chetzi Kaddish, signaling the conclusion of the Kabbalat Shabbat portion of our service. Thank you, Jerry.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם בעלמה ויאמרו Amen.
We continue together with the Baruch, the formal beginning of our evening service, a way of giving us a moment or two to make sure that everything is hanging the way it should be, that we're taking actually conscious notice of who we are, where we are, and when it is, as we rise together for the Baruch.
This is the Baruch Hu that I learned years ago from Michael Greenspan, who was our Hazzan for many years at Congregation Eitz Chaim. Lai 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 lai. La 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Voed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Voed. Lai 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 lai. La 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 la.
We continue together with Ahavat Olam, a beautiful psalm declaring God's great love for the world. Thank you, Jerry.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, V'shavenu v'kumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha. ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נגע יומם בלילה יומם בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממני לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהי עמו ישראל.
We continue together with the Shema and V'ahavta. Jerry has a beautiful teaching on these two prayers.
The Shema is the core of everything we do. It's our central tenet. It's what we cling to. And it goes like this. Sing with me. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol lebavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha beveitecha uvelechtecha v'derech ובשכמך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We continue together with the Mi Chamocha. Who is like God? A rhetorical question that invites those who claim, oh, there's all kinds of gods, that actually know there is one Mi Chamocha.
It was 15 years ago this week that I wrote this song for Congregation Eitz Chaim. Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Ha'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Le'darbat Kodesh, Dorat Tehilot, Osei Felech, Malchut Harav Ufanecha, Lokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe U'Miriam, Ze li amnu, Ve'am Ve'ru, Adonai Yimloch לעולם ועד. מי כמוך, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, באלים אדוני. מי כמוך, נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, ונאמר תפדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. מי כמוך, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, באלים אדוני. מי כמוך, נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, עושה פלא, עושה פלא.
We continue together with the Hashkivenu, the evening prayer, the prayer of gratitude and appreciation, and a plea for peace. May we lie down in peace, certainly all the time, but especially in the evening, when we're so much more conscious and sensitive to, frankly, things that go bump in the night. Hashkivenu. Thank you, Jerry.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Ushlo tzeiteinu לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
We continue together with Vishamru and Yismichu, two beautiful songs that share with us the joy of simply observing Shabbat. How is this? Well, imagine having both the dedication, the determination, and the desire and faithfulness to approach Shabbat with an open heart, leaving the week behind, leaving the challenges and the pain, the frustrations, the annoyances, leaving that all go as you enter Shabbat. And so it is, Happy are those who celebrate Shabbat, who do not permit a bad mood, a previous experience, to color their joy, to lessen their enjoyment in celebrating God and rest and peace. Thank you, Harley.
Thank you, Rabbi Noah. This week we're going to do a serious Vishamru and a zippy Yismachu. Ooh, 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 ooh. V'shomaru B'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat l'dorotom brit olam, brit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisroel, oti leolam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisroel, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Uvayom hashvi Shavat vayinofash beini uvein b'nei Yisroel, oti leolam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisroel, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Uvayom hashvi Shavat vayinofash. Yismachu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Am Mekadeshei Shavi, Kulam yispeu, yispeu v'yidangu, mituvecha. V'hashvi ratisavo, v'kidashto. Chemdad yomim oso karoso, sechel ma'aseh bereshit. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat.
We continue together with the Amidah, a wonderful opportunity to spend a few moments in quiet contemplation with our Creator. As we prepare for the Amidah this evening, I invite you to remember that this week's Torah portion is Shemini, and it refers to the 8th day after the 7 days that Aaron and his 2 sons remained in the tent of meeting as the length of the process of their ordination as priests. Now, certainly we are very aware of what happens to Nadav and Avihu, but more than that, we are encouraged to understand the idea of a korban, the idea of a sacrifice that is given truly as a way of simply expressing gratitude. And there are challenges to that, especially as we will read further on in our Torah portion. But in preparing for the Amidah, I invite you to think of what might be your korban, what might you offer up to willingly and joyfully offer to your God, or offer the universe, or show appreciation from your heart. What would be the experience that would cause you to react in such joy and gratitude? And that is the idea that I invite you to hold into your mind as we enter the Amidah together. Thank you, Jerry.
Adonai Sibatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imaot Umevi Geula Levenei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Meitim Ata Rav Lehoshia Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed Mechayei Meitim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato V'Shelei Afar Michamocha Ba'agevurot Umidam Elach מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו וכל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ויאמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
We continue together with the Mishaberach, a prayer of healing that we send to anyone challenged with an illness in body or in spirit. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzhak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. The names in our healing list this week include Sidney Honeg, Rose Franco Granowetter, James Basmajian, Sheila Nudis Cutler, A.C. Robertson, Roberto Correa, Melissa Vacalis, David Canal, Rick Greenberg, Lori Melman, Jack Millman, Herb Slomowitz, M.J. Malarkey, Marie Taranto, Gelsis Resto, Rita Fisher, Thomas Vuono, Jamie Meadows. I also invite you to say the name of anyone you'd like to send some healing energies to. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and of spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Vishebeirach Avoteinu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Vishebeirach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. So, my drash is about the Torah portion, Shemini. As I mentioned earlier, Shemini refers to the 8th day after the 7 days that Aaron, Nadav, and Avihu spent in the tent of meeting, being prepared apparently by God for their ordination as high priests. And clearly it was an intense experience. After they emerged from the tent, there was a very considerable series of large animal, small animal, and vegetables offerings continuously one after the other, as a way of signifying the kavod, the both honor and weight and seriousness of the position that these men were going to take. And remember, it had never been done before. This is all new to them. They really were taking instructions and directions, but as many of us know, it may be clear to me what I'm directing you to do, but if you've never heard it before, it's very easy to get confused, and then our mind fills in the holes. And, well, what happened, of course, to Nadav and Avihu is they were so swept up in the experience that they thought it was permissible, certainly not encouraged, but that it was permissible for them to offer their own korban, their own sacrifice, their own, not just a free will offering, but truly an offering of gratitude and appreciation. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you understand their experience, when they presented this alien fire, as Torah terms it, the flames did come out to cover the altar the same way that they came out to consume the previous burnt offerings. Unfortunately for Nadav and Avihu, they were the burnt offering. They became the burnt offering. Now, as Torah text continues, we read that Moses and Aaron were astounded at this event. Aaron was shocked into silence. Moses offered a cryptic explanation that God keeps those God loves the most close and uses them as a way to expand God's glory. Certainly cryptic and very difficult. But we are encouraged to understand that it was actually a sign of God's welcome, meaning that God not only accepted the offering, God accepted them in their entirety. And that truly is what a burnt offering was termed to be, that it was unique among all the offerings in that it was burnt completely to ash. It wasn't a take a piece off and put a little bit on the altar and give the rest to the priests, or put it all on the altar but just cook it. Don't consume it, don't turn it to ash. But a burnt offering, that's exactly what happened regularly on the altar. And again, it's what happened to Nadav and Avihu. But our sages do something interesting in that they match the Haftorah, which is usually matched with a Torah portion either thematically or by similar recounting of events. In this week's Torah, Haftorah portion, we read from 2 Samuel when we're told how David and his company were bringing the altar, the Mishkan, from one place to another. And as they were carrying it, Uzzah saw that because one of the oxen had tripped, there was danger of the wagon to tip over, and he actually reached out and grabbed the altar, and in that moment, he was consumed in flame. So between the Torah and the Haftorah, we have these two images where we have these brand spanking new high priests. They were high priests for exactly one day, and they were turned into a burnt offering, but it was seen as some sort of positive sacrifice. And then, however, the matching Haftorah, we have an incident where Uzzah, truly out of trying to protect and save the ark, instead was punished. And it's clear he was punished. The commentaries are not questioning this. They said regardless of his intention, he was cautioned and warned that no one, for no reason, is to come close, let alone touch, the Ark of the Covenant. So is the consumption of a korban, of a burnt offering, is it a positive sign? Is it a punishment? Certainly for those left behind, left to witness, it certainly seems fantastic and heartbreaking and astounding and truly, truly hard to process. Whether we see it as something positive or whether we see it as something negative, I would say that few of us would volunteer. And I say that purposely in recognition that yesterday was Holocaust Memorial Day, because truly every single one of the 6 million was treated as a korban, was treated as a burnt offering, was offered up completely. I recently read that we are still almost 2 million Jews away from reaching our same worldwide Jewish population that existed in 1939. So over 70 years after the end of the Holocaust, we still have not re-achieved the numbers that we had before that disaster. And what does that mean? Well, it used to mean that out of every 1,000 non-Jews, there were 5 Jews. Now, out of every 1,000 non-Jews, there are 2 Jews. And the counting is different now than it was back in 1939, because now we count if you tell us you're Jewish, if you had a single Jewish parent, if really it's a choice. Back in 1939, people understood what it was to be a Jew and what it was not to be a Jew. And yes, it certainly brought pain, but the point is, even having those very narrow boundaries of who counted as a Jew, meaning the numbers would be smaller if we used the same criteria today. The numbers would be much larger if we used the same kind of criteria today. And still, we're 2 million away. So what does that mean? It means we have to continue to grow. It means we have to continue to have faith. It means that we have not completed our purpose here. It means there is work still left to be done. It means it's still important to be a Jew. It means it's still important to understand what Judaism is and what is our part in it and what is our inheritance and how can we treat it all, both the tradition and the people. How can we treat it all with kavod, with seriousness, with holiness? Because that is what a korban is. It is a holy sacrifice, given with a full and open heart. So may us all offer the best we have to give in honor of all those who came before us, in honor of all those who intentionally went through a sacrifice for the possibility that we may come to exist. Truly, were it not for them, we would not be here. And may us remember that. May we remember that if not for us, the future would not exist. So I pray and I invite and I call all of us again to lead the best life that we can. To be called a Jew, to have that mean something wonderful and good to be proud of, to honor, to share, and certainly to never, ever, ever be ashamed of it. This is what I believe our Torah portion is trying to teach us. As our sages say, it is so important, it is essential, it is fundamental to understand the difference between what is holy and what is ordinary, what is sacred and what is regular, what is essential and what is optional. Once we have clarity on our purpose here, on our focus here, on the reason why we are here, we'll be able to go forward in our life with such confidence, yes, with such faith and assuredness. We won't be stoppable. In remembering those who continued to pray for 2,000 years for our return to Judaism, may we also continue to pray for the day when there will be peace in the land, when there will be peace between us, when there will be peace among us. Let us continue to work for that day and never lose faith that the sacred and the holy will guide us. Shabbat Shalom.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו את מצולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחתינו.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up, O God, over all humanity, cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We continue together with the counting of the Omer. Hineni mukhan umzuman l'kayem mitzvat aseh shel svirat ha'omer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvosav, v'tzivanu al svirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to count the Omer. Hayom shalosha asar yom, shehem shvuah echad, v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is 13 days, which is 1 week and 6 days of the Omer. So almost 2 weeks into the counting of the Omer, 7 times 7, 49 days, 7 weeks. So there's 5 to go. Do you feel a beginning, a stirring of lifting, of rising, of being elevated, of moving up from slavery, from a place of no agency to Shavuot, to a place where it's all agency? Hopefully this is the spirit, the inspiration that you receive when you count the Omer. We continue together with a prayer for our country. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and in spirit. Amen. We continue together with the Mourner's Kaddish. The most recent deaths in our community include Karen Lee Squire, remembered by Don Squire; Robert Lewis, remembered by James Basmejian; Jack Meslish, remembered by Harley Greene; Abigail Schatz, remembered by Harley Greene; Ron Lampert, remembered by Nina Lampert; Daniel Wetzler, remembered by Arnell Booker; Stephen Hoffman, remembered by Nina Lampert; Saul Silverman, remembered by Marilyn Silverman; Vicki Weeks, remembered by Arnell Booker; Julia Marie Shaver, remembered by Harley Greene; Cy Robin. Our yardsites include Robert Fine, Rita Friedman, remembered by Jeffrey Friedman; Rose Frankel, remembered by Arnell Booker; Julia Friedman, remembered by Dan Friedman; Richard Engelbaum, remembered by Elliot Engelbaum; Irving Jaffe, Bernard Lieberman, remembered by Ed Lieberman; Robert John Borchers; Harriet Schulberg, remembered by Thomas Buono. We continue with the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalamad divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'leomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Announcements. I'm delighted to announce that our next outdoor service will be on Friday, April 23rd. We had tried to have it the week before, but it so happens that the Pride Center is repaving the parking lot. So when you come for our service on April 23rd, the parking lot will be smooth, the lines will be clear, and it'll be so much more beautiful and easy to join us. We continue with our concluding song, Adon Olam. Thank you, Harley.
Thank you, Rabbi Noah. This is one of my favorite tunes for Adon Olam. It's not the traditional one we learned as children. This one goes to Scarborough Fair. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Li'es Nasav B'chev Sokol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yiyeh בתפארה. והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשיל לו להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמזרע. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצורכב לי בעת צרה. והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנוס כוסי ביום אקרא. בידו אפקיד רוחי, באסי שון ואוירה. ואם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. Good Shabbos, everyone.
We continue together with our community blessing. I invite you to breathe in all the songs and prayers that we shared this evening, and then release them gently back to each other. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha vayesem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Amen v'amen, and good Shabbos.
Feel like the world don't love you, they only wanna push you away. Some days people don't see you, you feel like you're in the way. Today you feel as everyone hates, pointing their finger looking at your mistakes. You do good, but they want great. No matter what you give, they still wanna take. Give your love and they throw it back. You give your heart, they go on attack. When there's nothing left for you, only thing that you can do, say today, live like you wanna. Let yesterday burn